Hi, this is Morgan Rodriguez, and I'm going to tell you what I learned in my aquatic science class. Starting with oceans, because it's the biggest body of water, there are 5 major oceans. These 5 major oceans are the Pacific, Indian, Atlantic, Southern, and Arctic Ocean. In the ocean, there are 3 zones: the euphotic zone, where sunlight rarely penetrates; the dysphotic zone, where sunlight decreases rapidly with depth; and the aphotic zone, where sunlight does not penetrate at all, and this zone is bathed in darkness. Next, we'll be talking about waves, tides, and currents. Waves are located on the ocean surface and are commonly caused by wind transferring its energy to the water. It can travel over long distances. A wave size depends on wind speed, wind duration, and the area over which the wind is blowing. This variability leads to waves of all shapes and sizes. Tides are actually the biggest waves. They cause the sea to rise and fall along the shore around the world. They only exist thanks to the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun, but vary depending on where the moon and the sun are in relation to the ocean. These variations are the deciding factor of whether it will be low or high tide. Currents are a large movement of water in one direction. They can be temporary or long-lasting. They can be near the surface or deep in the ocean. The differences in temperature and salinity are the main deciding factors in what the difference is in the currents. In Finding Nemo, you'll see this current with all the turtles. Next, we're going to talk about rivers and streams. A river is a natural channel down which water flows to a sea or lake. Most rivers begin in mountains as rainwater or melting snow. A river grows larger as it collects water from more tributaries along its course. The great majority of rivers eventually flow into a larger body of water. In this picture, you can see that the river is going in zigzags. This is also called meandering. A stream is a natural flow of water moving across country between banks. The primary meaning of stream is a body of water confined within a bed and banks, and having a detectable current. Some people call streams smaller rivers. Difference between lakes and ponds are shallow enough where plants could conceivably grow across the entire surface, and a lake, by contrast, has an aphotic zone, meaning there is an area deep enough that sunlight cannot reach the bottom. As a result, there are some very small bodies of water, less than an acre, that are deep enough to be called lakes. Marshes and swamps are types of wetlands. These wetlands provide habitat for a wide variety and number of wildlife and plants. They filter, clean, and store water. They collect and hold floodwaters. They absorb wind and tidal forces and provide places of beauty and many recreational activities. If it weren't for these wetlands, rivers would not be at normal levels at all time. They prevent flooding. In aquatic science, we also had aquariums. We learned a lot about the nitrogen cycle that occurs in these aquariums. Because new aquariums lack the colonies of bacteria that are necessary to provide biological filtration, the aquarium must be cycled. Cycling refers to the process of establishing and maturing the biological filter. As the first fish in the new system begin to thrive, they produce ammonia. After this, nitrite is produced. Nitrite levels will rise until the number of bacteria has increased to the point at which they break down the nitrite faster than it is being produced. The end product of this whole process is nitrate. Nitrate in low concentrations is not as toxic to fish and invertebrates, but can cause other problems in the aquarium. The best way to control nitrate is through regular partial water cleanings, which we always used to do in class. One of the field trips we took in aquatic science this year was a field trip to a water convention called Confluence in San Antonio. This is a picture of me and some of my classmates at Confluence. At Confluence, we learned a lot about how to save water and how to clean water and how they did it at different schools. You'd be surprised at how many schools actually set up programs to conserve and save water. Without wastewater treatment plants, we'd waste a lot of water. Wastewater treatment plants such as this one add oxygen to wastewater to speed up the growth of microorganisms. These microbes then consume the waste and settle to the bottom of the secondary settling tank. After secondary treatment, 80 to 90% of human waste and other solids have been removed. This is a desalination water plant. The first step to desalinating water is to intake the seawater into the system. The second step is the pre-treatment system, which takes inorganic substances such as sand, oil, solids, clay, bacteria, and dissolved organic matter, and they are susceptible to foul the reverse osmosis membranes. The third step is to actually desalinate the water. To do this, they take a semi-permeable membrane to remove everything except the water. For our Save the World with Water invention, we invented edible six-pack rings. The idea was inspired from the saltwater brewery who created the same six-pack rings, but from wheat ribbons from the brewing process of beer. For our invention, we used seaweed instead. As you can see, six-pack rings have a very harmful effect on animals. Some even digest them, which leads them to having digestion problems and later passing. A lot of animals die from this pollution problem. This year we also learned a lot about the human impact on water. Us humans have a huge impact on water since we use it in our everyday lives. We also waste a lot of it. If you shower longer than 5 minutes, you're wasting 5 to 10 gallons of water every extra minute. We also waste a lot of water doing yard work by accidentally watering the driveway or the pavement. Another way we use too much water than we need is by leaving the sink on while brushing our teeth. Although humans waste a lot of water, some people take into consideration conserving water a lot. A lot of people that do this use a shower bucket. Instead of letting water pour down the drain, they get a bucket and they reuse that water to either rinse their hair out, the shampoo, or something like that. And flushing the toilet less, like if you pee, leaving it and then peeing again and then flushing it later, or turning off the tap while either brushing your teeth or washing your hands, fixing leaks, going to the car wash instead, cutting showers short, watering less of your lawn, just making your lawn smaller pretty much, installing a rain barrel, which is harvesting rainwater, flushing with less toilet water, watching the water bill to see if you have any leaks, watering your plants in the morning because of cooler temperatures, washing your dog outside because you'll also be watering the plants, using less electricity, which you wouldn't think helps save water, but it does. Another cool thing we did in aquatic science was dissect a squid, and we got to make calamari out of it, which none of us really ate, but it was still fun. And we got to write our name in the squid ink on a piece of paper. Also dissected crayfish just like this one. And we dissected a starfish. This one was my favorite. And we dissected a perch, which is a small fish.